hang out and talk with other people who have PTSD? Hmm? Do you? You guys ready to do that? Huh? There you go. Now get back over here. Okay. All these people who come in here with PTSD to see you, watch it. They come in to see you eat and see you hang out and have a good time with you. Huh? Get back. Stay back. Sit down. Come on, Denali. Sit down. There you go. Trying to get you on camera. There you are. Huh? All these people come in here, hang out, find out how to work through, and have a little therapy. It's a little therapy room, isn't it? It's this little therapy room. It is. It's a therapy room for people with all kinds of stuff. Here we go. There you are. Look at that. Huh? Look at that. There we are. We just have a little time. Oh, you already got one person in here. Huh? You do. And then there's you back here. Who are you? There you go. There you go. Somebody's saying hi. Big J-Dub is in the house. Denali, Big J-Dub showed up. Good to see you, Big J-Dub. Starting on the channel to lean more into... I'm going to say hi to Big J-Dub. Spirit, you want to say hi to Big J-Dub? There you are. Look at that. He says, it is me, Dad. He says, here I am, Dad. He says, I'm over here. We're starting to lean into PTSD and stuff like that. There's a lot of content, as you know, out there from, hey, Irish. A lot of content out there from the special operations guys who, from that culture, that word community, whatever it is. But I just thought that, you know, regular people like you and me who have experienced it, you know, kind of try to lean into it. See if I can't make some videos showing people the hacks and the tips and tricks that I've used as I've started my recovery to help people out. What's up, Metal Gear? Good to see you, man. Metal Gear's in the house. Metal Gear's here. All your family's here, Denali. Oh, get up on your feet. Get up on your feet. Get up on your feet, Denali. Come on, get up there. Come on, up on your feet. Come on, let's go. So I thought I'd stop in and spend a little time with the dogs out here with you guys. Haven't seen you. You guys know I love doing this as much as you love watching it. Yeah, you know, like, sit down, go ahead and sit down. We have somebody from Denmark who comes in, Big J-Dub, named Lynette. It's a guy over there, kind of like the French, you know, the guys will be named Michelle. But it's a guy, and he comes in and he likes spending time with the dogs. And he asked me, you know, how do I handle my PTSD? And I was telling him, I said, you know, I said, one of the ways that I manage, thank you, Metal Gear, I appreciate it. We're actually doing pretty good. It's just more, the video the other day was more about being there to support my dad. It's probably going to be a pretty low level type, here's Spirit over there. If you could say that cancer was the most minimal type that you could have, this person has a tumor on a kidney, and so they don't have to go through chemotherapy or anything. It's an in and out, same day surgery. It's kind of amazing. But getting back to what I was talking with about J-Dub, thank you, Metal Gear, was starting to do what I do. He was asking about racing thoughts. Lynette was about racing thoughts with PTSD. And Irish Cream, if you could start saying in the chat that we have PTSD conversations in here and stuff, that would be awesome. Because I'm trying to move the channel over that way. But he was asking about how I handle my racing thoughts, and I'm going to make a video on it tonight, but I'll put it in here as well. But I get a pad of paper, and I know everybody thinks, well, okay, so you write things down. I actually go one step beyond that. There's a guy, everybody's pretty much heard of him, and he's influenced all of our lives. Nikola Tesla. Hey, Brandit. His name is Nikola Tesla, and he had a principle called 369. And 369 is their, I guess you could say, their power numbers in the number system. And so, like, what have I been using it for? What have I been using it for lately? I'm trying to think. Okay, so, hey, Simple Girl, good to see you. So, with PTSD and the racing thoughts, I needed a way to overcome and make sure that I was staying on track. So I'm using Nikola Tesla's principle of 369. So one of the things I noticed, we have a new grocery store, and it's across from kind of a bad neighborhood. And one of the things that I can't remember where I was told it, but they're like, when you stop your vehicle, always make sure that you take 3 seconds once you park to look around and be aware. And I thought, I pull into the parking lot and I just hop out of the car. And so what I do to make sure that I bake that into my memory is I do the 369 principle. And instead of saying when I go to the grocery store, I'll make sure that I take 3 seconds before I get out of my car to scan the parking lot. What I do is I use Nikola Tesla's 369, and in the morning when I get up, I write out, to make it shorter and just to bake it in my brain, I write out, I'm giving myself 3 seconds. So I write that out three times in the morning, and then in the afternoon I write it out 6 times, and then in the evening before I go to bed I write it out 9 times. So you're using that 369 principle throughout your day to bake it into your memory, because Nikola Tesla, he did a lot of work, a lot of stuff on the 369 principle, and he used it throughout his life when he was doing his scientific work, that now a lot of people are using in mainstream science. And so what I find is that when I use, there's Lynette, right? So I find Lynette, I'm just talking, so if you go back and watch this live stream, I'm talking about Nikola Tesla's 369 principle and using that in developing stuff in my memory. And also to okay, so we say we're gonna work out. Okay, but you find yourself losing that momentum to get up and work out. People call it motivation. So you need to get beyond that 3-day motivation, because usually people are going to crap out after 3 days. So, well, thank you. So you get to that 3-day motivation point, and even during that 3 days you may come in and you may do a few push-ups, do a few jumping jacks, and call it good. What I do is I use the 369 Nikola Tesla, and I just bake it in. And what I bake in is, okay, I'm working out every day. So I'll get up in the morning, I'll write that 3 times, afternoon 6 times, before I go to bed 9 times. I'm working out, I'm working out, I'm working out. Just make it quick. Instead of saying, I will work out, or I'm going to try working out, you just make it a action statement. I am. You don't add anything else into it. I am, because what you're doing is you're training your brain, you're training your subconscious, because when you put that into your subconscious doesn't really add emotion into it. You're giving your subconscious an instruction. You're saying, I am. Your subconscious comes back. It's like, okay, message received. That's what we're doing. So you put I am 3 times, bake it in the morning. In the afternoon, I am working out. Boom, bake it in 6 times in the afternoon. At night before you go to bed, I am working out. Boom, you baked it in 9 times. And you just start going through that principle. And there's really there's no right or wrong time. as to when you should start, or when you should actually stop writing that down. Thank you for the flow state, Uncommon Woman. So you bake that in, and you get that Nikola Tesla baked in. And so let's say that, okay, let's chain that together, because this is what I do. I chain it together. So I'll go in, I'll go like, okay, I am working out. So I got that baked in. So I get up every day. Here you go. Say hi. Say hi to Edward. Say hi. Get up there. There's Edward. Say hi. Say Edward. Hello. Right there. See? There he is. All right. There he is. There he is. There he is. So what I do is I'll chain them together. And one of the hard things for me is doing core workouts. So I'm doing my abs. I'm doing my, my lower back, building up my core, because I have a lot of trouble with my neck. Now, you gonna get up there and say hi to Edward? Here you go. Look at that. Who's that right there? She says, Edward. Edward, what's up, buddy? She says, all we're getting is chicken for dinner, Dad. All we're getting is chicken for dinner. Edward, he won't give us anything else. He won't give us anything else. So I've chained together, or I've established a foundation for I'm working out. So I'm getting up every day, I'm working out. As a matter of fact, when I get done with this live stream, I'm going out to do my pickaxing in the yard, and I've done my wall push-ups already today. Hey Ray, what's going on? Good to see you. So now I'm going to take it beyond the next level. I've done my workout. I'm getting up every day, I'm working out. Do it using the 369 principle of Nikola Tesla, using the I am statement. I am doing it. So what you're saying is, you're saying I am. You're not saying I'm going to try. You're not putting that doubt in there. You're just I am. Just like I'm going to go take out the trash. When you say I'm going to go take out the trash, you go take out the trash. I am working out. I am working out. And one of the hacks there, before I get to the chaining, one of the hacks that I'll use is if I'm having trouble with it, I'll say that I am statement, and then I'll just stand up. And so I'll just say it in my mind, I am working out. Okay, you're like, man, I don't want to work out. I don't want to work out. I don't want to work out. So you say, I am working out. And even if you don't, you just stand up. Boom, you just stand up. I am working out. Okay, great. You couldn't do it that time. Sit back down. Okay, 10 minutes later, I am working out. Boom, you get up. Sit back down. Okay. So then you're like, okay, I am working out. So you get up, but this time you walk over to the weights. Boom, you come back. Okay. So you're chaining yourself. I am working out, so that at a certain point you get up and you say, I am working out, and it's automatic. You just stand up, because your subconscious is saying to you, oh, okay, I am working out. I stand up. That's automatic. You're kind of training yourself into like a robotic, a conditioned state. So once you've got I am working out, and you've got that nailed down, then we're going to go to the core. I am training my core. Boom. I'm training my core. Boom. I'm doing that 369, 369, 369. Now that doesn't say that the first day that I start writing 369, I am working out morning, afternoon, evening, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, or 6 in the afternoon, 9 in the evening. Okay, so you go write it down. You don't do it. But now what's going to happen is you're going to go into your bedroom, and you're going to be laying there at night in your bed, and you're going to be like, crap, I wrote that down today, and yet I didn't do it. So if you get up the next morning and do the 369, I'm hammering my core. That's what I write down. I just put enough in there to bake it and trigger it. So I'm hammering my core, which I did last night. I'm going to be getting up here and doing it tonight after I get done with the pickaxe out in the yard. I'll come back in from the pickaxe, and then I'll get here on the couch right here, and I do floor raises and pelvic raises. So you're going to bake in, I'm hammering my core. Boom, I'm hammering my core, I'm hammering my core. 3 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, 9 at night. And so now I'm working out every day, what you're doing. Now you're hammering your core. Okay, so let's say after you've done that, so now you're hammering your core because you're working out every day. Next is going to be pull-ups. Okay, so now you're doing you're working out, you're doing your core. So then you just The point is you're just chaining everything. You're chaining everything. You don't eat the elephant in one day. You build one chain. You build one link in the chain. Boom, I got that link built. Okay. Then you go and you build the second link. Then you build the third link. And after a while, you've got that chain built for exercising, right? Okay, so let's say I was watching Tulan. He's a Green Beret last night, and I found this out in my life a few years ago, exactly what he was saying. And I started doing it, and I didn't really know what it was that I was doing at the time. But when he said it yesterday, it's like, okay, I've been doing that for 2 years. And he was on a program called the Mulligan Brothers, which I watched their shorts, and they interview a lot of special operations guys. And he said, if your house is dirty, your mind is dirty. If your house is cluttered, your mind is cluttered. That applies to your car. That applies to your yard. That applies to basically any physical space that you live in. If your physical space is cluttered, if it's dirty, if it's messy, it's a direct reflection of your mind, because if you have a clean state of mind, you cannot live in a cluttered environment. That's boom. I found that out, my own personal experience. So 2 years ago, it's almost been 3 years ago now, that I got off my medications and I started getting my awareness back. I was looking around, I'm like, my house looks like dog shit. So I have to go in and I have to start cleaning my house. As I clean my house up, my whole mental state changed. Because when I got off those medications, when my awareness came back and my nerves came back, where that medication took away, a lot of my senses, now I was able to smell, and I'm going to my house and I'm like, it smells like crap, and I'm looking around, I'm like, it's dirty. So I went back in, and we're going to get back to the 369 principle from Nikola Tesla again with the I am statements. I am is the most powerful statement that you can make to yourself in your life. If you do I am, your whole life will change. So when I was looking around my house and it's like dirty, I just started writing out, I am living an uncluttered life. I am living an uncluttered life. I am living a disciplined life. I wasn't doing just one statement a day. I live on my own. I disabled. I have my own income. I don't work. And it's like, okay, dude, you got all the time in the world and you got no excuses not to do this. So I may be chaining 4 or 5 I am statements together a day. Like, I am working out. I'm praying. I'm, cleaning up my house. I'm getting up at a certain hour. So I'm doing four or 5 blocks of I am statements, 3 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, 9 at night, because I got the time to do it. So in this case with my house, it was like, okay, instead of I'm gonna clean the whole house, it's like, okay, don't eat that whole elephant. Just put, I'm gonna clean my kitchen. I'm gonna clean my kitchen. Just that small chunk. Because if you feel like it's gonna be overwhelming and you try to go in and bite off that or eat that whole elephant, you'll walk away and you won't have eaten anything at all. But just bite that chunk off. I'm gonna clean my kitchen. Maybe it's like I'm gonna clean my sink. Okay? And then again, if you don't do it, don't kick yourself in the ass over it. Just the next day when you're sitting on your couch and you're thinking, okay, my sink's still dirty, I'm gonna clean my sink. Get up. Even if you don't do it, sit back down. Get up. If you don't do it, sit back down. But okay, the third time you're like, I'm gonna do it, you get up and you walk towards it. Because you're conditioning your brain, because you start with, okay, we'll go back to I am working out. I am working out. So you've got that I am in your system. So you're training your brain every time you say I am, you're conditioning your brain so that when it hears I am, whatever the statement is after it, it's automatically going to execute that statement, which then you're automatically going to execute that statement. So it's not a matter of, people talk about meditation and stuff like that, like it's mystical. It's not. All you're doing is training your brain. Because when you train that brain, just like you train your brain, okay, let's say that this is a change in your life, okay? You use I am statements every day. You just don't realize it. And it's because your brain is like an operating system. So an I am statement is basically an execution of an act. You're gonna act, and I am is executing that act. So you say, okay, you say I am gonna go get a donut. You get up out of your chair, you go to your kitchen, you get a donut. I am gonna go get a beer. You get up out of your chair, you go to the kitchen, you get a beer. All that you're doing is just reframing your I am statements to head in another direction in your life. That's really all you're doing. So if you sit there and let's say that you want to get into meditation, so you get your house, you get it quieted down, you get it smelling good because that's a part of it, that's a sense. So you want to neutralize your environment, and then you start going through your I am statements in your mind 3 times, 6 times, 6 times, 9 times. So you're going to sit there in a 13-minute meditation session, which don't really go longer than that because you're just going to get tired. So you do, I am working out. I'm cleaning my house. I'm doing whatever. 369, 369. Take 13 minutes, boom, block it off. Do it mentally. But always make sure that you write. And here's the reason. Get back. Here's the reason that you want to make sure that you write every day. Okay? So you say it in your brain. That's easy, man. That's easy. I'm working out. Always close your eyes if you're meditating, because it blocks. It doesn't put your eyes. You're not bringing in multiple things from around your environment. You close your eyes, you're able to just fall into your mind. Meditation is easy. Thinking about it is easy. Writing it down takes effort. But what happens is when you do I am, you write it, you're baking it in at a totally different, I guess what you would call it, sensory level. You have to take action. People don't like to write, especially today. When I started writing a couple years ago, it's like, man, I haven't used these muscles in my hands in years. It was painful at first. So you write it. So when you're writing it, it's basically physical. I've looked this stuff up since then. Get back. I've looked this stuff up since then, and what it is it's just nerves. So you're writing it, and what you're doing is you're basically writing it instruction-wise into your mind. You're carving it into your mind because you're writing, it goes up through your nerves into your brain, baked in. Boom. Yes, exactly, because it's just what Big J Dub said. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read off what he said. He said it's like flashcards. They ain't the same you unless you write the question and the answer physically. Another one, Metal Gear. I never even thought about that. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. What I do is when I do the 369 principle, I will write it down, and then what I do is I stand up and I just hold the paper and I just look at it. Now the other thing, I haven't done it in a while, but now that I'm making some changes in my life again after Operation Enduring Warrior, because what I'll do is I'll write the 369 statements down, and then I'll just sit down and I'll free write and I'll talk to myself about it. Metal Gear, what he just said is another hack. I'm gonna do that tonight, Metal Gear. I'm gonna do that tonight. That is a fantastic idea. Metal Gear said, "Don't just write it, speak it." That's powerful. That's powerful. Thank you for pointing that out, as well as Big J Dub making the point on the flashcards. That's a really good statement. So, let's see what Big J Dub say. Yeah, that's another good one too. And I'm gonna tell you something, Big J Dub. I'm gonna come back at you on that, and I'm gonna challenge you on this because I want you to think about this. Um, I had come up with this idea in my life a long time ago, but Jocko really reinforced it. And what Jocko said is he said, and you think about it, I thought about this basically regarding New Year's. Everybody, New Year's resolution, they get motivated. I'm going to go to the gym this year. I'm going to go to the gym, and they say, most of the gym memberships are in January 1st and they cancel in February or else they never see them again, whatever. Because people get into the motivation, that quick burst of adrenaline into your brain. I'm motivated. Like I said, 3 days they do it, and then the fourth day it's gone. Motivation is really amazing at certain stages in your journey. Once you've made the decision to do it, my suggestion, what I do in my life is I don't motivate. I make the decision, but I make what do I call it? A thought out decision. A decision that has some sort of passion and meaning behind it, because I think all of us, as humans, there's decisions that we can make, like I'm going to go get a job because I got to pay the bills. Fair enough. But when you make a decision like I'm going to go to school and get my doctorate degree, there has to be some level of passion behind it. If you're making a decision that I'm going to change my life in a big way, that decision has to come from a place of depth, a place of meaning, a place of desire. Now that you've made that decision, now that you've connected it to something of meaning, and you're going to take yourself and put yourself on a road, once you get on that, once you are looking at that road, there's commitment. And so now with the commitment, what you have to do is you have to tack discipline onto that, which is where the 369 comes in. So you're tacking discipline onto that. And I think that motivation and discipline are switched up. Okay, I'll give you an example. In boot camp, we had to run 3 miles. That was the hardest thing that we had to do in boot camp. Boot camp was easy. But I remember running in boot camp, and you're running and you're doing the grind, and you're getting through the run, and then you're making the last lap, and everybody wants to push, and get a better time. So everybody starts cheering and, encouraging each other on. You've disciplined yourself through 2 3/4 miles of that race. The motivation comes at the end to push yourself towards the end. And it may be a situation where you have 3 stages in whatever it is that you're going to do. So you start at the beginning. Okay, you get further into it, it's like, man, screw this, I don't want to do this. Okay, you go in, you sit down, you're writing yourself a letter. You're like, dude, you can't cave in on this. Okay, let's say with me, something that I struggle with recently, I went back and started eating the donuts. Okay, and I made a video about this. Maybe some of you watched it, where it's like, okay, I'm back eating the donuts. I got to stop. Well, what did I do? I just started talking to myself, and I'm like, you got this stuff out of your life once. You have to get this stuff out of your life again. If you don't, you know where it's going to take you. And so I had that discipline conversation with myself. Now when I go down to the supermarket, what I do is I challenge myself when I'm in the supermarket. It's like, dude, you know the donut case is over there. You know it's over there. You want to go over there. And I just start shit talking myself. It's like, do you got what it takes to walk past the donut case, you moron? Are you weak enough? Can you walk past that donut case? You can't. And I just start messing with myself in my head. And the donut case is over there, and I know the donut case is over there, and I want to go to the donut case. But you know what? When you have that win, when you go to the checkout, you check all your stuff out, you put it in the bags, and you're walking out the door, and you didn't go to the donut case. Now you got that trigger of, man, I just made it through, that temptation or whatever it is. I was disciplined enough to, make it past that temptation. And so, now you can have a little motivational victory when you're going to the car or whatever. Yeah, I did it, man. I'm good, and now you know that, okay, the next time I got to go to the grocery store tomorrow, it's not going to be any easier, but challenge yourself anyways, and if you fail, if you fail one day, come home, write yourself a letter. Write yourself a letter. Write it down. I'm kicking carbs. You know, because in America we look for cures. We look for a cure to something. There is no cure to life. There is no cure to anything. The pharmaceutical industry gives us band-aids. Okay? But there is a way to take the step, and we're talking about PTSD tonight. There is no cure for PTSD. There is no cure for mental illness. There is no cure for depression or anxiety. There are ways to live a good quality of life with them, because PTSD, anything like that, is like I cut myself with a chainsaw when I was 17 here, when I was out cutting wood with my dad. The scar's still here 40 years later. Some wounds are deeper than others. They don't go away. What you do is, like I just said with the donuts. Okay, PTSD, I liked to, the reason I bring up the donuts is I personally like to medicate my PTSD in the past with food. So food is always going to be something that is a weakness towards me. So when I'm in the grocery store, I'm very aware, okay, don't go down the carb aisle. Don't go down the donut section. When you're in dairy, you want a glass of milk. Just, be very aware, be very in tune with the quality of life that you're living now and why it's so important to you. Because your temptations are all around you in the grocery store. And if you go in there and you're kind of mindless and brainless to that temptation, it's just going to catch up with you, But I guess what I was saying about, a cure and stuff is, I look at life like, well, a game, a track race. But I also look at life as like, there's a lot of downtime in between the games, in between the track races. And what do athletes do during that time? Physical athletes. They go out and they practice and they practice and they practice. And they're doing physical conditioning. They're doing mental conditioning. When you're managing and pushing yourself to make yourself better every day, when you're dealing with something like PTSD, or if you're quadriplegic, or if, a lot of these guys who are going to Enduring Warrior, which I had to cancel out of, a lot of these guys who are going there have physical illnesses. Maybe they were burned, maybe they're paraplegic, maybe they're quadriplegic or whatever. When you have that, you push yourself constantly, because you may be entering phases of your life where it's going to be a game, but there's going to be a lot of downtime where if you don't practice, if you don't constantly practice, if you're not constantly writing down and pushing yourself, and you become lax, all that stuff's going to pour back right in your life. It's just like physical fitness. If you don't work out, you get fat, you get lazy. Same thing in your mind, condition-wise. Your mind is a physical muscle. If you don't exercise your mind, your brain is a physical muscle. It's going to relax. It's going to get flabby, and then you're going to find yourself slipping back into the old routines. This couch right here that you see me sitting behind, I used to spend 18 hours a day in this couch. I don't anymore. Again, the I am action statements. I am going out to pickaxe the yard. I am going to do this. I'm going to do that. So now I have those automatic statements that get me up out of the chair. Yes, exactly, Big J-Dub. Push, then hurry up and wait. Yes, that's exactly it. All right, guys, I got to go pickaxe the yard. I'll let you say goodnight to everybody real quick. Come on. Say goodnight to J-Dub. Say goodnight to Uncommon Woman. Say goodnight to all your people out there. Oh, you did get up, didn't you? Look at that. Say goodnight. Hey, come on, say goodnight. Hey, there you go. You want to get up and say goodnight to everybody? Come on. Come on, get up on your feet. Come on. Let's see. Let's get you up here. Hold on. I got to get you up here, everybody. Edward wants to see you. There you go. All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming in. Irish Cream, I always appreciate you. Uncommon Woman, good to see you. Big J-Dub, Metal Gear, it's like the family all came in. Paul Watson's here. Good to see you all. Really appreciate all of you, and I'm glad you're here. I really do. I think the new direction we're going with this, we're going to kind of be able to be a group chat Uncommon Woman, Simple Girl, Thomas, good night. We'll, things won't be as quick in here with the channel with the dog feeding, but I think we're going to be able to create a new, well, I believe we will, because I am action statements. We're going to create a new environment where a lot of people are going to have a chance to, those who want to change, those who want to restructure their life, are going to have the chance to do that. There you go, Simple Girl. Send that to me in an email so I can put it up as a quote. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll be back. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care, everybody. I'm going to do the yard. All right, let's go do the yard, everybody.